And that should be a lesson to everybody. Every dog has his day. You just have to keep going and never fucking quit. Because if you quit, you're giving up on yourself and you're giving up on this. You're giving up on freedom. Don't give up on your freedom. Don't quit. Don't get discouraged. Hang in there. It will come. Your day will come. The day comes to those who believe and don't lose faith. And I'm not being religious here. I'm just talking about life, what I notice in life. The day comes for those who don't give up and maintain their belief. And those who give up are the ones that lose. So don't give up. Don't quit.
Welcome to Gold Silver Pros.
Everybody, this is your host, Rob Kientz with 𝘎𝙬𝙊𝙍𝙍𝙀. Today we're going to be talking about gold. I'm not going to have a lot of data for you, although I do have a couple of visuals to put up on the screen. I'm going to be talking about, should we be staying in gold, and what are your beliefs in terms of long-term in gold, and are you going to be a strong hand or are you getting out? And then I've got a couple of special announcements here at the end of the video. Stay tuned for those. One of the reasons I'm doing the video this way today is because I had a couple of customers come in the shop. One in particular came in yesterday and just really discouraged. Been a long-time gold and silver investor. You know, he used to buy coins and resell coins and collect stuff for scrap, and he was really involved a lot in the industry as an individual proprietor. And he came in and he was just contemplating, should I sell him this silver and gold? And didn't really want to, but really discouraged by the fact that gold and silver haven't done what in his mind they should be doing. And the visual charts I'm going to give you are showing that gold is underperforming by a couple of key measures through no fault of its own, by the way. It's through a lot of the underappreciation of the commodity sector, specifically metals and the mining industry, but also the fact that there is some manipulation on the COMEX markets, which I do think is breaking, by the way. So I don't think that that's going to last forever. But this show really is all about conviction. How convicted are you, and what are the alternatives? And that's what I want to talk about. This is going to be a bit less data heavy, a bit more of a spiritual conversation, if you will, because I feel like right now we're at a point in which belief in gold and silver probably are at lows, not only cycle lows, but maybe generational lows. People just aren't as excited about them probably as they should be, but I think they should be given the data, and that's why I've got a little bit of data for you. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about a very special show that I'm doing locally here at the Dallas-Fort Worth area this weekend. If you guys are in Dallas-Fort Worth, you want to come see me, it'd be a great show to do. And I've got the weekly special, 2 weekly specials I'm going to put out for you guys in silver, specifically to help people that don't have a lot of money. And then we're going to put a custom deal out there for you as well. So you got your choice. All right. Now on to the data part of the discussion. I'll go ahead and get the charts here up on the screen that I want to talk through. The first one comes from the World Gold Council, gold.org, and it's talking about spot prices. Now, you may have heard recently on social media, because you're not going to hear it on the mainstream media, you hear it in social media or alternative media, that gold has been reaching all-time highs in a lot of other currencies outside the dollar. Well, gold is almost at an all-time high relative to the dollar, but if you can see here on the very end, it's not quite. It's trading at about $1,970, dollars an ounce this week, sorry. And its all-time high was somewhere around 2060, although everybody differs on that. And this chart's 2015, but I saw it touch on, I think, 2064. Some people say 2074 at the top of the candle. Didn't hold it, but it's somewhere in that 2060 range. I think all of us would agree on was the high that we saw during the last spike during 2000, when there was all of that fear about what was going on in the world. But the good news is this chart shows that we're almost at all-time highs in gold. And so people really shouldn't be that discouraged. If you're sitting in a stock and it's sitting almost at its all-time high, you may be a little discouraged it hasn't gone higher, but you're not totally discouraged. Why would you be totally discouraged? If you bought Bitcoin and Bitcoin was trading up at 60,000 again, wouldn't you be happy? I think we have to get some perspective over where we are with regards to things. This chart goes back to 1969. And look at where gold was trading back here. It was 34 bucks an ounce back when it was regulated by the government, and it couldn't trade over that 35 bucks an ounce. And then as soon as they released the commodities markets and allowed gold to trade, freely, you started to see the rise, and there, when we had the big inflation in the 70s, late 80s, gold reached $697 an ounce. It's not inflation adjusted. That's just in real terms. And then gold spiked up, of course, in 2011 with the financial crisis to, what was it, 1900 was its all-time high. And then it spiked up again during the COVID crisis and or the quote unquote pandemic, and spiked up again during the bank failures. So gold has been doing largely what it's supposed to do. And you can see it's risen a lot. If I were to graph out since 2000, the stock markets, gold's beaten them. Now the stock markets did do more here, but that's because gold part of the time was not tradable in the market. It was at a set price. And so I think there's still a lot of pent-up demand for gold. And I'll show you that in the next chart and how that works. But before we go into the pent-up demand for gold and really the pent-up valuation for gold is really how I should be phrasing that. Look at it in other currencies. This is the pound, the British pound. If we pop that one on there, you can see that gold is trading at an all-time high. That's the dark red line. What if we add the euro to that chart? Well, gold's trading at an all-time high in the euro, although it hasn't been trading that long. So you get a line down there, but it is at an all-time high in the euro. We go to the Australian dollar. Well, it's at an all-time high in the Australian dollar. Look at there. That's the tip of that spear. What about the Canadian dollar? Well, gold's trading at an all-time high in the Canadian dollar. You can see in that one right there. What about the Swiss franc? Well, gold's trading at an all-time high there in the Swiss franc. You can see that green line down there. What about the Japanese yen? Well, gold's trading at an all-time high in the Japanese yen. You can see that there. I'm going to skip these two because these are smaller currencies. We'll go to the CNY. Well, gold's trading an all-time high there too. And this is where it gets really fun. We'll get to some other ones. Here's the Singapore dollar, SGD. Well, gold's trading an all-time high there. So all those major currencies, gold's trading an all-time high. It's not quite there at US dollar, but it's pretty damn close. So should we be upset about where gold is priced? I would argue not, because I think gold is sitting near an all-time high. And we haven't even gotten to the bad parts of the market yet where things could potentially crash. Looks like it's popping me out of that. We'll go back to it. Where things could potentially crash. There we go. Let me get these currencies taken off, and then we'll show you in some of the smaller currencies. Wait until you see some of these smaller ones, the ones that are a little bit less liquid in the market, or countries that their currency is relatively not as strong. I mean, look at the ZAR. We'll take that one off. Let's do the INR. This is the Indian rupee. Look at the Indian rupee, all-time high. What about the Hong Kong dollar? All-time high. Look at the Mexican peso. Bam, all-time high. So no matter which one you look at, gold is trading at all-time highs in all these other currencies and almost at a high in dollars. Well, where is it specifically with regard to the dollar? Well, that's really, the dollar, the DXY index is really hard to categorize because it's a fiat to fiat index. It's not a fiat to real value. It's not a fiat to gold or a fiat to oil or something that you would say has real value over time, a real commodity or something real. The DXY is the relative strength of the dollar to a basket of other currencies. And it's not really an accurate measure of the dollar itself to purchasing power, to things that you will buy, to ability of you to live your lifestyle, your standard of living. So one thing that I wanted to graph out here was, this is gold, the XAU-USD to the CPI. So it's gold divided by the CPI. Now what you'll see here is a declining chart. You're like, Rob, why is it declining? It reached all-time highs back here in 2020, but it's a lower line. Well, yeah, it's a lower line because this is an inflation adjusted chart. It's accounting for CPI. Now, I under no stretch of the imagination believe that CPI is a real measure of inflation. I think it's a garbage measure. And I wrote 50 pages of my book, Drop Shadow, The Truth About the Economy, which you can get on Amazon for cost. I don't make any money on it anymore because it's about 12, 13 years old. You can get it for cost on Amazon. Just look up my last name or look up Drop Shadow, The Truth About the Economy. You'll find it on Amazon. You can order it. I think it's like $7.99 or something like that. Publisher gets all that money. But I leave it out there because people are interested in, my research dating back 10, 12, 13 years, specifically chapter 2, maybe the money chapter of the book, because I talk about the government numbers and the CPI. I show in there the CPI is basically a joke. And I think we all know the CPI measure is a joke. All of us, fall, gold, and silver pretty much know that. And I basically demonstrate it with math, and I demonstrate it with alternative studies on living wages and things like that, which prove that the CPI measure is a complete and utter joke in terms of the inflation adjusted value of products, whether it be gold or just everyday living, stuff that we need. In any case, when you adjust it for CPI, the cool thing about this chart is you get two things. One, inflation is lower than real price inflation. And two, gold is not reflecting the probability of demonetization of the dollar overseas. So this chart, the point I'm trying to make here is that gold has a lot of upside. If you adjust it for real inflation, gold should be trading probably at $4,000 to $5,000. Well, some people say $10,000 an ounce. I would say conservatively $5,000 an ounce easy. If you adjust it for real inflation dating back to the early 1970s, when they finally allowed gold to trade freely in the markets and to start reflecting, the monetary inflation we had. And of course, 1971, we came off the gold standard. 1974, we had the commodities markets in the U.S. come into being. So that's about the time when you started the gold price start to rise, because you start to see, gold and silver and all these other commodities traded on the U.S. exchange, and you saw the controls lifted of the peg of the dollar to gold and the gold standard. And so you began to see that. But when we're using CPI inflation numbers, you don't get a real valuation of gold to other things. You get it to this paper dollar and the lies that the government tells on the true inflation. And that's reflected in the chart. As you see, we have not reached the value of gold in 1980, and it's January 1, 1980 high that it had, which was 9 times the value of gold since the beginning, when it was pegged. I think was at $35 an ounce. So it's actually fallen. Gold has fallen. So in other words, what this is showing is gold's not keeping up with inflation. So when we had our big high in 2011, in August 2011, due to the financial crisis, a couple of years after that, gold reaches an all-time high. Adjusted for inflation, it wasn't the same as gold back in 1979-80 when the problems were much less worse. In other words, because CPI is such an understated number, and this chart shows that, gold has never reached its inflation-adjusted value in 1979 and 80 when the economy was in much better shape than it was in 2011. And think about the economy now. Where does the economy sit now? Do you believe that gold should be trading this much under the valuation that it was in 1979 and 80 or in 2011? When inflation adjusted, gold never, even though gold reached an all-time price high in 2020, it wasn't when adjusting for CPI. What about what it was when adjusting for real inflation? See, gold's never reached the peak that it had in January 1, 1980. It's never reached that peak. It didn't reach it in 2011, not inflation adjusted, not by the government's inflation numbers, much less real inflation. And it didn't do it in 2020 and didn't do it in 2000 during the tech crisis. It hasn't done it at all. In fact, 2000 was a nice little bottom when you had the tech crisis, when people started investing in gold. They started to see that the system, wasn't going to last. That started in 2000. So when the tech crisis occurred in 2000, people woke up and started investing in gold a lot more. And that's why you have, so much interest in it, even though most of it's ever been mined still above ground. And that's the astounding thing. I get why silver price, the arguments made for silver doing a quote unquote moonshot, because it's in supply deficit right now. And eventually we're going to run out. That's industrially speaking. But we're talking about most gold ever being mined still above ground in bar or coin form, because only 20-something% of it's used in industry. I think that's the number. I have to go look it up. But the majority of it still is used in investment form. And even so, it's still risen so much, but it's still underpriced. Gold has got to go up a lot more. And if we're talking currency crisis and currency crash, this should go straight up off the fucking chart. I'm sorry. This is going to go off the damn chart. Okay. It's not even reflecting CPI inflation numbers dating back to 1980. And it's not reflecting real inflation numbers. And it sure as effing hell is not reflecting the probability and the actual process of the demonetization of the dollar that's going on now. It's being demonetized. People are dropping the dollar. China is now selling treasuries at the fastest rate they can. When the bond market goes, the dollar's toast. It's history. They're flip sides of the same coin. Money is created through debt. That's our system. Money is created through debt. When the debt markets go bust, there is no more currency. The dollars are dead. It's over. Toast. See you later. Okay. So at that point in time, gold's going to go way up in dollar terms. Now, what will it do in terms of real things? I think it will still go up, because if you think about gold now, people are buying gold through the proxy, the dollar, and the dollar is been devalued much more than the CPI would indicate. And so people are buying gold cheap now relative of gold to other things, because that proxy, the dollar in which we price gold now, is such a bullshit number that the price of gold is ridiculously low right now compared to where it should be. Gold is the actual evaluator of the strength of the currency, not the other way around. So when people say, well, gold's not reaching an all-time high, I mean, you're looking at it the wrong way. Gold is a hedge against calamity. And where are we in the cycle? We're at the end of the fiat cycle. We're at the end of this debt cycle. We're at the end of the system after Bretton Woods, whatever you want to call that. And it's around the world. That's why I showed you the gold chart and other currencies. See, gold's going up in other currencies first, because those currencies aren't used as the world reserve currency. And they're less of a lie. They're still a lie in their valuations, but they're less of a lie than the dollar. The biggest lie is told in the dollar, because that's what everybody's trading in and priced in. That's where the biggest lie has to come. That's where all the interventions come from all the players on the market. And so when you start to see gold rise in other currencies, first, gold's undervalued. The other clue is that gold is traded very heavily in China, and there's a premium on the gold contract in China. I'll show you that, show you that, guys, at least once a month on our weekly market wraps that we do on either Monday or Tuesday. So we're looking at it the wrong way if we're pricing gold in dollars. Dollars should be priced in gold. And when you look at that chart that I showed you, even inflation adjusted, gold's didn't really reach an all-time high in real value. It only did in paper value, and that's what the CPI lie. That's not even considered real. So for that guy that came in my store, and a lot of you out there are totally discouraged, just understand this. Gold and silver are the balloons held under the surface of the water. And eventually they're going to pop above the surface and they're going to rise. And when they do, the prices are going to go nearly straight up. We saw that with a short-term shortage of nickel on the LME, and the price went straight up, and then they had to halt trading. And nickel's a very abundant metal. What's going to happen when the dollar crashes to the gold and silver valuations? They're much more rare, and they've been used as money. And silver and gold are also used in industry, silver very heavily. It's going to go up like this, and it's going to keep going up like that, to the point at which you're not going to be able to value gold in dollars, because gold's going to become the measure. And when you talk about the BIS and Basel III, that is where gold becomes the measure of the system. That standard basically has said gold will help be the measure of the system. It's how we're capitalizing our balance sheets. And the gentleman that came to the store yesterday he was like, no, it's not going to happen. It'll never happen, never happen. And I said, what is your alternative? And this is the spiritual part. The alternative is to give into the system. If you give into the system, you will become a digital slave in the CBDC system. You will be a slave. They will have control of the valuation of your money, which is just digits on a computer. It's not real money. It's not commodity money. It's not any sort of real money. They'll be able to devalue it anytime they want. They'll know all your transactions. You will not be able to do anything. You will never be able to get ahead. You will never have the ability to get ahead, because they're going to control the value of your labor, of your work, of your individual contribution to society. That's what that system is. It gives the people over there in the government and at the top of the banking system complete control over you. So by giving up on gold and silver now, just because it's not measured in dollars the way you want it to be, you're giving up on your freedom. You know, gold and silver are freedom. That's why I have a bar that says silver is freedom. There's a point to why I put silver is freedom on our custom bars, which, by the way, are going to be one of the sale items we have today. Because it is freedom. Because if you give up on gold and silver because you can't stay to the end of this marathon, at the end of the dollar system, one, you're going to miss all the rewards of gold and silver being revalued to what their real value is in terms of everything else, and not this crappy thing we call the dollar and the CPI lie and all the other government lies on all these metrics. So if you give up now, you're giving up before the big payoff. Why would you do that? It's like you work a job to retire and get your retirement benefits, but you quit, 60 days before retirement because you just get frustrated. Oh, I haven't got to retirement yet. You just give up your pension and everything 60 days. But why would you do that? What's the point of that? I understand people want it to happen right now, but this system doesn't happen when you want it to happen. It's going to happen when the system breaks, and it's going to break. And if you stick through, you'll see the benefits of that. That gold and silver will help you get through, but it also will help you revalue your own lifestyle to the real value of things. And if you're storing more gold and silver, you will have more monetary value in your portfolio than you did otherwise, I think, according to the research. Do your own research, but that's what I think. All right, on to the sales. 2 things on sale this week. We're putting our Silver is Freedom bars back on sale. Now I'm going to discount them. They're $300 because they're custom designed, hand done by myself and Jim Forsyth of Silverback Precious Metals from a COMEX bar, 1,000-ounce COMEX bar. And so we valued these at above silver cost because they're limited. There are only 90 ever made. I've only got a few left. I might be down maybe to 10 or 12. So when I put this on sale, they will sell out probably now. I'll just keep one for myself just to say I have it, but they're probably going to sell. The cool thing about these bars is they're laser etched on back with the bar and with the number of 90 that they are. I think that's 43. They were minted in April 2023, designed by Danny on our team, and all this other stuff about where you got them from. Laser etched on there. It won't rub off. And then they're wrapped in plastic for shipping. You can take that plastic off and get the pure silver. Silver is Freedom, our own design. I'm going to put this on sale for $250. Now, it's a 10-ounce bar, so that is a little bit of premium over spot, but considering the fact we handmade these from a COMEX bar and you can get them nowhere else on the planet, it's a collectibles item. So we're not really selling it for its collectible value. We sold a lot of these when they were, $300 a pop. These are on sale for $250 if you want to get one. Now, again, I don't know if we'll ever make these again. I'm trying to get a 5-ounce version made that's a little bit different design, but it won't be this design. And I don't know if we'll ever have these again because it's done by, a small mint. I don't know if we'll have the time and money to redo that again. And maybe we will at some point in time. But if you want one of those, get them now. They're almost gone. The other thing I'm going to put on sale, and I'm pretty insane for doing this, but I'm trying to get people silver in smaller amounts. If you don't have a big budget, and I just had a conversation with a follower who made an order today, and he doesn't have a big budget, but he wants to get on like a savings plan. He wants to order something from me every month. And I said, okay, if you do that, if you order from me every month, I'll work with you on getting you lower premium stuff if I know those orders are coming in. Where I can get a little bit of volume through the store, I can offer you lower premium, because that volume helps make up for the lower premium, pays for the store and pays for the shipping and insurance and, the lights and all that stuff I have to have. And, the licenses and all the things that, all your compliance programs and all the things that you have to do, to have one of these retail shops. There's stuff you got to do and stuff you got to have, and to do and to have those things, I have to make a little bit of money to pay for all that stuff. So I'm going to put this on sale. So these are, 90% silver. You got the Walking Liberty design right there. No, that's a Ben Franklin design in that hand. Then you got the Walking Liberty design. These are the $50. And then you got the Kennedy design, $50, 90% silver. And then we got the quarters, the 90% quarters. Ta-da. And then we've got a couple of dimes. I think we've got Mercuries and regulars. Now these are circulated. So you may get something considered fine quality or collectible quality in the Mercury dimes. Maybe a rare date, but I wouldn't count on it. Most of them are circulated. So it's just considered regular junk or constitutional silver. We have those three denominations for you. And I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to make just a little bit over spot on those. I'm going to give them to you for 17 times spot. Right now, I think the silver price is around 16.5 times face value. I'm sorry, 16.5 times face value is melt value. I'm doing it for 17. So I'm making just enough, a little baby profit. So 17 times face on these and on these and on these. And all you have to do is you have to order it in $100 face value at a time, and you have to go to the website. So we'll show the website. This is the way to do it. I'm not going to have it like this on goldsilverpros.com. I'm only going to have it on my website. So you go to volume pricing. You have to do the www. So www.goldsilverpros.com. I don't put in goldsilverpros.com. That forwarding is not up yet. We'll get that up. But right now, www.goldsilverpros.com. It's the name of our channel. Go to volume pricing and click on this access exclusive pricing button right here. And what that does is it pops open a little Google form. Put in your information. The only thing I really need is your name and your phone number. The address I'll get later. You can put it now. That's optional. And your email. That's what gives me a way to contact you. And you're saying what you want and a time for a call. I'll call you or email you, depending upon your preference. If you want to be called or emailed, let me know. And I'll set it up to where we get you either the bars or at $250, because you go to the website, they're $300. We'll get them to you for $250, and we'll get this to you at 17 times face, which is just a hair over spot right now. So 17 times face, as long as you buy these in $100 worth of face value bags. I'll send those out to you. So that's a reasonable amount. I mean, it does cost a little bit there to get the discount, but you're getting it near spot. And that will allow you, to get that. Now, I don't have a ton of this left. People have been buying a lot of this stuff in the store. I do have a couple of bags of it left. So it's probably going to be for the next 10 to 12 customers are going to get in on this deal at near spot constitutional if you're buying in a little bit of volume. And only a few customers are going to get this one. I anticipate I'll probably sell out of both this week, more than likely, because I'm discounting about as much as I humanly can and still making enough to keep the lights on. Now, for the announcement, I'm going to be doing a coin show this weekend. Let's put that up on screen. For those of you in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we'll move over here. I'm going to the Texas Coin Show at the Grapevine Convention Center in Grapevine, Texas, area code 76051. It's located down here, as you can see, highlighted 1209 South Main Street in Grapevine. This is in the mid-cities. It's about 10 minutes north of DFW Airport. So if you're anywhere near the airport or mid-cities area, this is a really short drive. Even if you're in Dallas-Fort Worth, it's 20, 25-minute drive usually. And if you go to the website, it's got the details about when it's going. Friday, I think it's actually 3 to 6, but they say 2 to 6 here. Saturday, 9 to 6, and Sunday, 9 to 3. I will be there. I'll be one of the dealers at the table. Come see me. I'll have my big roll-up sign, big tall roll-up sign that says Gold Silver Pros on it that I take when I do conferences. And I'll be there if you want to take a look at what we've got. We'll have a lot of things. So again, Texas Coin Show, Grapevine Convention Center, 1209 South Main Street, Grapevine, Texas, this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the shop will be closed Friday, Saturday, Sunday for those that want to visit me at the shop. That will be closed and locked up, and I'll be over at the convention center getting set up for this, and you can come visit me. And you can go to coinzip.com and look that up, or you can simply go to Grapevine Convention Center, and it's got the CoinZip website on there, which is hosting the event. And I will have, not only will I have these type of items and these type of items, I'll have my regular gold and silver bullion. We will have some jewelry. We'll be selling jewelry. Now, I don't have jewelry up on the website just yet. I'm trying to get that done. It probably will be done next week. I have some very high quality, brand new jewelry, and I've got a couple of what I call consignment items or gently used jewelry that I'm selling, you know, for people that it's good quality jewelry. It's nice stuff. Some of it is going to be like your 22, 24 karat gold. Some of it's going to be mixed with gemstones. We'll try to get that up on the website next week. But if you want an early look at it, come to the coin show, as I'm now expanding into jewelry. I also have different currencies. I wish I had one in my hand, but I've got one Reichsmark left. I've got the $10 trillion Zimbabwe note. I've got a very fine 25 level graded $2 Bank of Canada note. I've got some other currencies that I'll be taking, some old bonds. I've got like a Fort Worth, a check that was made out in Fort Worth, one of the original checks that was made out to help finance some of the infrastructure in Fort Worth. That's a collectible item. I'll take some other collectible coins there as well. I've got a really beautiful, couple of beautiful proof coins. Got a proof US Eagle that's gorgeous. I've got a proof Australian wedge-tailed bird coin that's in silver, which is gorgeous. So I have the bullion, the jewelry, the collectibles, and I will also have the currencies and the old bond notes and things like that if you guys are interested. All at the coin show. Come see me in Grapevine, Texas. And stay tuned to the website, www.goldsilverpros.com. Excuse me. We're going to be adding other items to it. I have gotten access to some great deals on, well, I'm not going to announce it just yet, but other types of merchandise you guys may be interested in that falls in line with people that also buy gold and silver. We'll be announcing that in the next couple of weeks on the website. So we're expanding out. We've got a lot of space here to store stuff, and people have asked me for a lot of things. I had people coming in here asking me to sell this, that, and the other. So I've had a lot of the women ask me for jewelry. We've now got jewelry. I've had a lot of the old coin collectors ask me for collectible coins. I've got some of those up on the website, and I've got some in the store. Not all of them are up on the website or in the store, but I'll be adding those as we go along. And I'm going to be adding other general merchandise you guys may be interested in. So stay tuned for that. I'll make announcements as I have them available. But again, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, come visit me in Grapevine. And to summarize the video real quick, we're at 27 minutes, so I'll give this a quick 2-minute summary. Don't lose faith in gold and silver. Do not lose faith. We're at the end. You're at the end of the marathon. You don't want to quit when you're running the 100 meters and you're at 95 meters. Why would you do that? Don't quit. Don't quit. And also you're going to miss your payoff. You're going to miss that revaluation of your lifestyle because you have gold and silver, and it reflects the true value of things once this dollar system finally goes to hell, which is where it needs to go. Because it's from hell, it needs to go back to hell. We need to stuff it back down to hell and say, screw you, we're done with this. Because the alternative, ladies and gentlemen, is go to CBDCs and the digital system, and it's a control system. And you will be digital slaves, and you'll never be able to get ahead because they're just, anytime you get any value in your bank account, they're going to revalue it. And it doesn't matter what you do. There's not going to be any more entrepreneurism in society when that happens. They're going to suck it all up through their digital system. And they're going to take it. That's what CBDCs are. It's a control system. It's to destroy the value of your labor, in my opinion. That's just my humble opinion. Go look at it for yourself. Do your own research. But that's the alternative. So if you give up on gold and silver, you're giving up on yourself. You're giving up on your children. You're giving up on everything. You're giving up on the notions that founded this country. Look at this "Don't tread on me" sign back here. Where did that come from? What does that mean? It's a libertarian. It's don't tread on me. I'm an individual. I have individual rights. What is the Constitution? Okay, what do we have over here? For those of you, one nation under God, if you will. What does that mean? What are all the sacrifices that have been made for us to have the lifestyle we had? From our forefathers, our parents, our ancestors that worked the land and toiled. Are we going to give that up? Because if you give up gold and silver, if you give up this, if you give up gold and silver, you give up your freedom. That's why we name the bar "Silver is Freedom." So is gold. It's freedom. That's what you're giving up. So don't capitulate. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged. We're at the end. There's so much discouragement in the precious metals industry right now. The mining stocks, people are complaining the miners are getting hammered. The metals aren't doing what everybody thinks they should do, but that system is going to end soon. I don't have an exact day for you. I don't know. Only God knows that. I'm not God. But I can see what's going on, and I can tell you we're at the end. So stay strong. A lesson for you. My Texas Rangers baseball team won the World Series last night. They've been trying to do this for 62 years. One of only 5 teams that never won the World Series. Now there's only 4. The Texas Rangers came out of nowhere. They had so many injuries this season. They weren't supposed to win till next year. They've been done building their team. And guys came out of nowhere and they beat 2 of the teams in the East, AL East, that had the best records. And then they beat their arch rival, Houston Astros. And then they went and beat a scrappy Arizona team in Phoenix. Won 3 straight at their place. The only perfect, I think they won 11 road games. The only team in history to win 11 road games. And the only team in history that could, because you have to be in the new format, in the wild card, to win 11 road games. They won all 11 road games. They broke records all over the place. Seager won his 2nd MVP, one of only 4 players in history to win 2 World Series MVPs. I think 2 pitchers and 2 position players. He and Reggie Jackson, and then 2 pitchers. So the Texas Rangers overcame everything, and everybody telling them they were always going to fail, and everybody saying you can never do it, and came out of nowhere to go win the highest standard in baseball, the World Series. And that should be a lesson to everybody. Every dog has his day. You just have to keep going and never fucking quit. Because if you quit, you're giving up on yourself, and you're giving up on this. You're giving up on freedom. Don't give up on your freedom. Don't quit. Don't get discouraged. Hang in there. It will come. Your day will come. The day comes to those who believe and don't lose faith. And I'm not being religious here. I'm just talking about life, what I notice in life. The day comes for those who don't give up and maintain their belief. And those who give up are the ones that lose. So don't give up. Don't quit. Okay? Stay strong. Rob Kientz, Gold Silver Pros, Thursday edition, November 2nd, 2023. Thank you guys so much for sticking with the channel. Next week, a lot of good content. I'm going to try to move back the weekly market wrap up to Mondays again next week. Thank you guys for supporting the channel so much. For those of you that are going to come see me at the Grapevine Coin Show ahead of time, I really look forward to meeting you. Come and talk to me, come and see our stuff, and just support all the people at the coin shows. The coin shows really are people there. There are small businesses that do a lot of great things for the community, and I know that they would love to see you there if you got just a few minutes in your schedule this week. All right, till next time, Rob Kientz, goldsilverpros.com or www.goldsilverpros.com.